Welcome to this episode of The Den. What are our favorite things about living in northern New Mexico and southern Colorado? So today we're going to share that and more. Stay tuned to this episode.
The Den, powered by the Lyons Group, a show dedicated to exploring hot topics in real estate, local happenings, and industry trends. We're a small team of professionals approaching $400 million in sales and nearly 2,000 local transactions. You're listening to time-tested experts and industry leaders. Here's a refreshing look at real estate happenings and more. Welcome to The Den.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Den, powered by the Lyons Group. And today we're going to be talking about our local area. San Juan County, La Plata County, living in northern New Mexico, northwest New Mexico, or southwest Colorado. What are our favorite things to talk about or do or see in the area? We're going to talk about some of that. But before we get to it, I do want to introduce my friends, my partners, the fellow members of the Lyons Group. To my left, Paul, hand me the rockberry. Melissa, let's go, Glasgow. Aspen, the ninja, Groen. And Shannon, the boss, Martin Martinez. My name is Ben, the procrastinator Lyons, and I'm your host of The Den, top brokers taking on tough questions. And again, today, not really questions, more about just talking points about our local area. And I'm excited about this one because I moved here from out of state. And in fact, that's a good segue. Last episode, we talked about origin stories, and everyone had their own unique stories on how they got into real estate. And it was really fascinating. And in fact, I'm going to pick up because I was the only one that didn't get to share my origin story and how we got here today. But hopefully that will parlay into conversation about the local area and all the wonderful things. Oh, stop.
You just wanted your own episode.
I did. Secretly, I just kind of moved that around, didn't I? I'm that kind of guy. So, but I did move here from a totally different area. I actually grew up in the Seattle area, across the water, a small town called Port Orchard. And I lived there most of my life. Now, my dad had lived here for many years, so I was not new to northern New Mexico, northwest New Mexico, the Four Corners area, but I just hadn't lived here for a lot of years. And I went through the majority of school up in Washington. And let me tell you, it's green and beautiful for a reason. It rains a ton up there. I forget when I fly into Seattle that there's like moss on roofs.
Yes.
Like you fly in, you're like, whoa, there's moss on top of a house. Different, very different, beautiful people up there, beautiful area, definitely different cultures. It's a melting pot up there too. You have a lot of Asian influence up there, all the islanders and Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Taiwanese, Philippines. So I had a lot of Asian friends. And down here, it's a little bit different. You don't see as much of that influence. You see more of the native cultures and Hispanic cultures and whatnot. So I love this area. This is a fantastic area. So I actually went to college up in Washington in Stillicum next to Lakewood where Melissa lived. Yep. What years were you up there?
I was there 97 to 2001.
That is right when I went to Olympic College. I went to a community college. I got accepted right out of high school into University of Puget Sound. But their prerequisites were like $25,000 a year. And I'm like, no way, I'm paying for my own school. I cannot afford that. So
I actually looked at that school because of the brochure.
Oh, did you? Yeah. UPS?
Yeah. It had a great brochure back then.
Yeah, but I tell you what, man. And a lot of the teachers, a lot of the profs actually taught at Tacoma Community College and Olympic College. Mm-hmm. So I just did my prerequisites there and then transferred into the University of Washington. And I finished out my 4-year business degree. And then at that point, I was like, what am I going to do? And during that time, that was 99, 2000, American Express was kicking off financial advisors. They were, recruiting financial advisors. So I said, you know what? Let me go apply to be a financial advisor. And I went in and took their personality test. And this is pivotal because this got me here. I took their personality test and I had taken so many tests leading up to that with college that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to answer how I really feel instead of what I know they want me to say, just like how I truly feel. And the guy that was interviewing me, he's like, you're a perfect candidate. You just got your degree. Like, this is the career path for you, business, organizational leadership, He gets the test results and I come in, I start joking. I said, wow, was it that bad? And he goes, yeah, it was. And I went, really? I thought I was waiting for the laugh and he wasn't laughing. He said, according to this personality test, you are not business minded. You're not entrepreneurial spirited. You're not all of these things. And we cannot accept you as a financial advisor. And I went, wow, really? Because I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, ever since I was working at, 7, 8 years old with paper routes or whatever else. I was doing stuff. I was always doing stuff. And so I just thought it was really interesting that a personality test disqualified me as a financial advisor. So then I started going, well, what else is available? What can I do? And at the time, my dad had rang me up and said, hey, there's a small company here in Farmington that's selling their business. They'll finance you. It's a small boutique real estate firm, because I didn't have any money at the time. I had worked my way through school and as a waiter at Point Defiance. I opened the Anthony's at Point Defiance, which is an awesome restaurant. That's a whole other story. You'd be sitting out there and it's on the Puget Sound. And so you'd be waiting tables and you'd see a submarine pop up.
Yeah.
Or a pod of orcas. It was really wild. It's a totally different experience. Beautiful up there. So I moved down here and the lady, Liz Aragon at the time, financed me and said, you just make payments and you can have this little company. And so I owned a real estate company at 23 years old. I was 23 at the time. And I had never closed a deal, never bought a house. I had got this is back during the time where you could get your broker's license and not have had any experience. I don't recommend that for anybody. Let's not do that ever again. I'm glad they closed that loophole. Sherry Work was a realtor there, and I gave Sherry props on one of our last podcasts for being a mentor for me, because she would help steer and guide. Because what you learn in the books versus the reality of practicing real estate are two different things. There you have it. That started my career in real estate, and that was 23 years ago. Shortly thereafter, Shannon showed up and said, hey, dude, you want to partner up and we'll start kicking butt? And I was like, sure, let's do it. And so from there was history. So we've been working together over 2 decades, had some wild rides, some great memories, and we've been through the ups and downs. Over the years, we had that company for, almost 9 years, and I ended up closing that down in 2008, 2009 timeframe when the market crashed, and we went to work for another firm, and we worked there for 10 years. And then we came over to Remax about 3 years ago. That really opened my eyes, because then I started thinking, well, we brought Paul on and Shannon and I were working together, and we thought, I wonder if we really press, if we really try, what can we achieve? And lo and behold, here we have Melissa and Aspen, top producers across the board. And that's kind of the origin story for how we got to the Lyons Group. Mm-hmm. And I love it because we all come from different backgrounds, different pasts. We all bring different things to the table, different perspectives, and we may not all agree on things, and that's totally fine. I love that. But I wanted to share with our viewers kind of the origin story and what brought us to this point. But here's the kicker. I told my brother, I said at the time, and some of my friends, I said, I'm going to a place in northern New Mexico. I don't know if they have paved roads or cell service. I said, if I'm not out of there in like 3 years, you come get me and drag me out of there. I tell you what, they would have a fight on their hands now, because I love this area. This area has grown on me. I love the people, the community, the weather. And speaking of that moves us right into what are some of our favorite things about living in northern New Mexico or southern Colorado. I know several of us have lived in many different areas. Have you lived in southern Colorado? In Durango area?
No, I haven't lived there. My parents lived there, okay. And some of my siblings have lived there, but I'd already moved out by the time they went up there, so that's where they live now. Yep. I did go to college up there, so spent a lot of time.
Sure.
Spent a lot of time in Durango.
Yeah, and it's basically a sister community to us, mm-hmm. right? I mean, I consider Durango like part of us. So, but what are some of the favorite things that you all love about this area? Aspen, why don't you kick us off? If I were someone coming here from the East Coast, what would you be talking to me about?
So what I think the one thing, it doesn't matter who you are, you can agree on the weather here is absolutely amazing. You get all 4 seasons, but we have so many sunny days. So even if it's snowed, you still get the sun, which just is really, it's you don't get that in many places. You get the rain, and maybe it's not as green as other places, but we are getting a lot of sun. But I think one of the best things about living here is because it is so warm and the climate's so mild all year, is whatever you want to do, you have the option to do it. If you like anything outdoors or film or whatever, you can find it here. I think I love the river, and I love being able to go from, Durango, Colorado, all the way down now. So they redid a lot of the river. So you can go on a multi-day trip right here where we live. You can go to the lake. You can go, if you're into snowboarding, there's that too. If you like mountain biking, there's that. We have some of the best fishing in the world here. There's just so many things to do out. You always joke like people move to Colorado because they want to be outdoorsy, but that you really get that here too, with a lot milder weather than, northern parts of Colorado.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I call this the hidden gem of the Southwest because we are water rich. I mean, we have they call us the Tres Rios, right? I mean, we have 3 rivers, 2 rivers and a creek that come right through this area. So 66% of the above ground surface water in New Mexico runs right through San Juan County, which is pretty incredible. But we have all these amenities that people just don't realize or know. And the weather is fantastic. So you actually get to go out and enjoy, because that is one thing when you get up to the higher elevations, Durango and whatnot, you're at 7,000 feet. And so, yeah, the snow's a little bit harder. It gets cooler quicker. Just south of the border, you still get those weather patterns, but it's a lot more mild. Yeah. So, Shannon, what are your thoughts? Like if I were moving here from Florida, what would you be telling me?
Well, I'm with Aspen on a lot of that. I love the outdoors and I love having 4 seasons. You can see the colors change in the fall. You can do fishing and hunting in the, summertime. You can do skiing and snowboarding in the wintertime. There's just something all the time to do around here. But one of the things also is just kind of the history of our area. And I think that's really neat too. You go north just a little bit, there's tons of mining towns. You think of Animas Forks and places. You can still see intact mining towns that you can explore. You can actually go walk them and walk through houses. Or you think of all the ruins even close to us. Not even the big ones. You've got Mesa Verde. You've got, Aztec ruins is incredible. If you have, I think people take that for granted. If you ever really go and look at that place, there is a whole little village there that they've uncovered and so much history. Then there's all these places that are just kind of, they don't even have markers. You think of Francis Canyon ruins. You think of Crow Canyon, the petroglyphs that we've got all
the arches.
Yes. Yeah.
All these arches in our canyons that are amazing.
So much beautiful, rich history in our area, to explore. And most of it you can see year round.
Yep. Even if you're just going down the river, you can actually see spots where there was like stairs or where I don't know what the drawings are called, but
petroglyphs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can like see them, and it is really cool. Yeah. Like it's not at the Aztec Museum or it's not hidden away. It's right.
It's right there. You can just find and explore these places all over. You don't even have to go to a monument to see them. So I think that's one of the great things about our area is there's just so much history around here that you can learn, so many fun things that you can do no matter what the season is. We do have some of the best fishing around. We've got the quality waters. We've got, our lake, our rivers. They're abundant. Great place to hunt.
Yeah.
A lot of elk, a lot of deer. A lot of people do bow hunting around here. Just depends on what you're into. And or even just the ATVs. We see a lot of people with razors around here. A lot of places to go explore and ride around and just see the land. You look at the Bisti Badlands and how gorgeous.
Oh, the hoodoos. They look like big mushroom rocks.
Absolutely beautiful in some of these areas. And you think about it in a big city, you might have a lot of nightclubs, you might have a lot of indoor things to do, but out here, if you just get outdoors, there is something beautiful to our parks, Berg Park. Beautiful places that a lot of cities just don't have. We have
and very quickly too, like it doesn't take very long to get to the Badlands. I mean, we're at the foothills of a lot of people don't realize we're at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. An hour north, you're in the Rocky Mountains. I mean, we have the little Switzerland of the United States, 2 hours away at Ouray? I mean, it's incredible how quickly we can be in totally different
Telluride
geographic regions.
Is really close. Yeah.
Moab.
Yeah.
Page, Arizona, where the Antelope Canyon is.
Even the Four Corners Monument, Grand Canyon, it's all very close.
All incredibly close.
All of it is something you can just take a nice day or one night overnight and just see a completely different landscape.
Yeah.
You can see something different that you're not going to see. And some of these big cities can't offer that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to drive a long way to get out of the city.
Here's a trivia question for you. So when you drive over Wolf Creek Pass, there's a little creek that starts there. What's the headwaters? Do you know what river that is? my kids, they're always like, oh, Dad. Because every time we go over Wolf Creek, I'm like, there's the headwaters for the Rio Grande.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when you cross over Wolf Creek and that little river begins, that's the headwaters for the Rio Grande River, which is pretty incredible to see where it starts. Because then you go the opposite direction to Albuquerque and you cross the Rio Grande and it runs down through Santa Fe and all that jazz. So it's pretty awesome to see how much reach we have in a short area, geographic reach anyways. So Melissa, what are some of your favorite spots or things, or if I were moving here from Jersey, what would you be talking to me about?
Well, we do have a ton of parks in the San Juan County, a ton of parks, which is very, very, people like to go to the parks. We have clean air here.
Yeah.
Which is something I think we take for granted. If we're not from a really large city, we have really clean air. We have, I'm going to forget exactly what it's called. The dark sky, areas where you go and there's zero light pollution.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is really cool. And, I don't have statistics on me, but, you know what? It's a comfortable place to live. I don't have to worry about property crime the way I do in other cities in our state. I don't have to worry about things like that because we're not there.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge. And I don't want to say anything that's too, like I said, I don't have statistics on me or anything like that, but I feel safe in my community.
Yeah. When you're talking about the dark skies, because you literally can see stars behind stars.
Yeah.
When you're out, you're out and about and you don't have any other city lights around. I picked a friend of mine up. Remember Mike? Yeah. He flew in from, he lived with me. He was a roommate up in Washington. Then he moved to California and he just always lived and grown up in big cities. So he flew into Albuquerque and I picked him up and it was late at night and we started driving to Farmington. And about an hour and a half into the trip, he literally had a panic attack. He freaked out because he was like, where are we?
Oh, wow.
Like it has been an hour, almost 2 hour and a half, almost 2 hours of like nothing. And it set him into a panic because he was so used to seeing, street lights and things like that, I had to like talk him down. Like, it's going to be fine. We're, it's just one of,
it was like, we might get abducted by aliens over here, but don't worry about it.
Dulce's right over here. So, yeah. But it was just a reminder to me how that people that live in the bigger cities may not experience what we get to take advantage of all of the time. And once he was out here, it was like, this is awesome place. Yeah, it's amazing.
You can see the Milky Way.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal, So,
yeah.
But just playing off of what you all have said, the ruins that we get to go and experience are phenomenal. And just that culture and that history that's there is, I moved away for a while and you really appreciate it whenever it's not your field trip this year. And it's like, wow, this is really special.
Yeah, you take it for granted when you're a kid, right? And you go on those school trips. But then you grow up and appreciate how much history we have.
Yeah.
Here.
It's real special.
Yeah. Now, Paul, if I was some knucklehead
from Boston,
moving out here to the Southwest, what would you be telling yourself? I don't know. How many years ago is it?
Well, I was just thinking, y'all had great points as to what can I add to this. My perspective is a little bit different. I did grow up in bigger cities or close to big cities, with no dark skies or whatever we call that.
Yeah.
So seeing stars out here was pretty cool. I do remember a funny story. I moved out here in 2005 and my dad came out in 2012. So during that time, I had gotten jaded with all the scenery and the bluffs and all that stuff. So I pick him up from the airport. I think that time he just came out to visit. The whole way from Albuquerque to Farmington. Wow, look at that. Wow. And I'm like, shut up. This is ridiculous.
It's everywhere. It's going to be around the next corner too.
We have a lot of it. Come on.
Yeah.
But just being able to see for miles, being able to, get up on a hill in Farmington and be able to see Angel Peak, Huerfano, Shiprock. These are miles away from where we're at. I think that's a pretty cool thing. In most big cities, you have trees on the side of the road.
Yeah.
The highways you're not supposed to see on a highway. You just see what's right in front of you. You can get from point A to point B. In the West, you can see everything around you. And I think that's one of the big things that I like about here. When I go back home to where my family is, I can last about 2 or 3 days. Then the amount of people and buildings and noise and all that stuff really gets to me.
Yeah.
And I got to get back here. So I would say the best thing about here is it's quiet. There's not a ton of people except around holidays or the weekends. There's always something to do outside.
Yeah.
I will say I don't like the spring winds though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spring winds are going to be
I
brutal.
don't know if you can all,
We're all
if you
dying.
can hear this.
Yeah, if we have anything bad to
Yeah.
say, it's allergies.
This is good allergies. You said clean
That's one
air. I
thing
was
we
like,
don't
well, we got
want
some
here.
allergies.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's a pro of the dirt, though, and the wind is the sunsets.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
true.
really
Yes.
special
Boy.
sunsets.
You know, you almost feel bad when you see the wildfires coming, but then you look at the sunsets and think,
Yeah. Beautiful sunsets.
yeah.
And we kind of mentioned it, but the community here is so awesome. And yes, we are smaller, but if you want to find something, whether it's, silversmithing or art classes or pottery or rock climbing, like outdoor, like whatever you want to find, you can normally find it. You can really find, a solid group of friends and they'll let you in and it's a very welcoming place.
It is.
And if you can't find it, you will have the resources to start it yourself.
Yeah.
You can always do that here. And I think that I don't know, I've never lived in a bigger city, but I could see that being harder to get access to things if there's more red tape or, other people are trying to do the same thing or anything like that. I think the community here is really special.
Yeah. And that's really a good point because people like rally behind small businesses here. In a big city, you just kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to be a niche that is, how do you say it? Niche. This niche is the niche.
I don't
is,
even try and
niche
say it.
isn't the way. Niche is the new thing. You have to find your really cool niche.
What are we talking about?
Just stop.
We had a good topic, and then what are you
go
doing?
off on the rails. So, but yeah, the community here supports you, and if it's something that's not here, like you said, like pickleball wasn't a big thing.
Now it's huge.
Now it's huge. I mean, if you were the
Very
first one to start,
serious.
yeah, it's very serious.
I do want to say all of you guys had mentioned things that are outside of Farmington. Like we're in such a good place because we're so close to everything. But there's plenty to do here. I've worked here for, how long has it been now? 2005, 19 years. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've been to Moab. That's about as far as I've gone. But all the other stuff you said, I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to do here.
Right here.
Mhm.
Yep. So that's a good point too. We have all of this stuff at our
There's one
fingertips.
more thing that I can't believe none of us said. New Mexican food.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
It's the best.
It is.
It is.
It is the best cuisine around.
Yeah. I literally have withdrawals. Oh, come on.
I do like fresh seafood. You can't really get
Yeah,
no,
so some
that's true.
seafood, some Italian food. We don't really have a lot of Italian food here.
But
That's
New
true.
Mexican food.
Chinese
New Me-
food.
But if you go
The
out
authentic.
to Mexican food in California or
You can't-
Texas,
it's completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
New Mexican food is its whole own category.
Yeah.
So the first
It's
thing
not
that
Mexican food. It's
first
itself.
meal I had here at a restaurant, they asked me red or green, and I said, "You're out of your mind. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, the plate. I don't know."
Yeah.
So then I said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Well, that's chili. It's going to be hot or hotter."
Yeah.
Well, let's have not a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I said, So my wife says green on the side.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And then it came smothered in red.
Oh.
So I said, I'll still try it. And I ate probably a quarter of the first burrito. I was sweating through my clothes. But yeah, New Mexican food, I think the chili is
The chili is amazing. I always
Yeah.
pictured Hormel chili. Like when
Mhm.
they said red
Yeah.
or green chili, I'm like a canned chili? Like
Chili
what-
with an I.
Yeah.
Or chili with an E.
An E. Yep. So, well, great discussion on the local area, all these wonderful attractions. Just a quick speed round. I want to hear your top 3 favorite things of the local area. Shannon, we're going to start with you.
Well, I wasn't prepared for
Yeah, I know. I like to hit you with the speed round.
My top favorite things of our area are going to be the weather, because it's never that bad. It's never too hot, never too cold. It gets hot and cold, but not that bad. I would probably say just access to how close we are to so many diverse things to do. I like just being in this area where you can get to anything you'd like pretty quickly. 3, I would say probably just the community, the people, like we talked about with local business, small business, things like that. If there is somebody that is missing, everyone rallies around. If there's somebody that's sick, everybody rallies around. If there's someone starts a new business, everybody's going to go out to support you. I think the people here really make the difference.
It does. That's a big difference. Aspen, top 3.
2 of mine are the same. So the weather, you really can't beat it here. The summers are not too hot. The winters are not too cold, but you still get all 4 seasons. I could do without spring, but you still get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rivers here are just really good. And the fact that you can have, a fun place with a little bit more rapids, but also feel safe to take your family down and then be able to like, you know, have both options is really cool. So I think that's a unique thing here that I love. And then I'm with you on the community. I always wondered how my parents knew whenever I was doing things I wasn't supposed to. And now I have my kids. And it's just so nice, you know, when Connie Mac's here to be, I feel comfortable letting my kids play with the other kids down below because I would always get nervous about that. And now I'm like, oh, someone's watching them.
Yep.
They know who they are. They know they're with me. And just having, you know, more eyes than you can even imagine, watch your kids and be there if you needed someone. Even if you're not that close, you could find someone here. And I think that's a really special thing.
Takes a village. Takes a village to raise the kids. And that's true.
Community. It's the best here. It really, truly is. Sunsets are gorgeous. Second to none. New Mexico sunset. You're going to love it. I love what I love. New Mexican food.
The New Mexican cuisine.
I love it.
Oh, love it.
Can't get anywhere else.
Paul, top 3.
I don't know if I can give you 3.
Yeah.
I can give you 1.
Yeah.
What I like is the part of the community that everything revolves around kids, athletics, parks, activities for the kids. This is a very kid-friendly town. The Boys and Girls Club is a great organization. Every time I drive by there's a pack of kids out there with the employees there. This is a place that knows how to help you raise your kids. School system is good. I mean, even
the library, the river walk. I mean, there's so many different things for kids here. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. And to round it out for me, my personal opinion is first and foremost, the access to the outdoor amenities are amazing. We got incredible rivers, awesome fishing, the historic components. We've got all the things right around us, the Grand Canyon, Moab, Telluride. I mean, on Pagosa Springs, Santa Fe. I mean, I can go on forever. The weather, top notch. I mean, especially for us being in real estate, if you design your backyard like a little paradise, you double your living space 8 months out of the year. Safe to say 8, maybe even 9 months. I mean, you can literally live outdoor here, which is fantastic. And then the final thing, I agree with all of you. The community is special. And it really, especially raising a family here, people really get behind, families and the activities and really come out to support small businesses. It's really special. So if you're watching this and you live in a big city, you should consider the Southwest. This little hidden gem, the Farmington, San Juan County, Aztec, Bloomfield, Kirtland, just north of us, Durango, Colorado, Pagosa, Bayfield, Cortez, Mancos. There's some great areas. And we'd love to have people move to this area and really experience what we get to experience all the time. So we're going to wrap up this episode. And I just want to tell you, thank you for joining us today. A fantastic discussion on some of the great amenities here in the Southwest. If you'd like to see us talk about a specific topic, put it on a comment, send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We've gotten some great feedback on the podcast and we love that. So any engagement that you'd like to throw out there, we certainly lean into that. And we would love to hear some of the hot topics that you want us to explore. And also, if you want to schedule a consultation with any one of the Lyons Group members, you can reach out to us. Go to sjcbroker.com. You can schedule a specific or a personal consultation with any one of us at any time. Reach out to us. We have some awesome buyer guides and seller guides that are for free. We're happy to send those to you so you can get going on your journey. We work residential or commercial real estate. And we just want to thank you for listening to this episode of The Den. Next episode, we're going to be talking about different architectural styles. We have Southwestern styles. We have Cape Cod. We have Craftsman. We have Mediterranean styles. Is there a big difference in the Southwest? Should you stick to a specific type of style of house, or should you mix it up a bit if you're looking to build? So we're going to discuss that and some more topics on the next episode of The Den. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to The Den, powered by the Lyons Group. Hit the subscribe button to keep informed on real estate happenings. If you'd like to learn more about the Lyons Group, visit sjcbroker.com. Complex markets require complex strategies. The Lyons Group can give you a true advantage in any market. Whether you're buying or selling, residential or commercial, contact us directly at sjcbroker.com. We're time-tested experts with a client-first approach, and we'll see you next time in The Den.